All right, this is so cute, you guys. This is a Pumpkin Spice Latte Keychain, and this is a new kit that we have available in the shop as we speak, and I'm going to show you how to make this cute little keychain from start to finish so that you can do it yourself. And it's super easy and doesn't take long at all, so I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. All right, so in your kit, you will get enough to make 10 of these. So you'll get 10 of these mason jar keychain blanks. You'll get the 10 keychain rings with the jump rings. You'll get a pack of 25 tassels. That way you can pick whatever color you want to use. You are going to get the mica powders I used at the top here. This one is the brown sugar mica powder. This is what I used to make the pumpkin spice. And then this top part right here is the white wedding. That's going to be your foam or your cream on top. And then obviously we use the faux whipping cream on top, which I'll show you how to do with the piping. And I put a little bit of little sparkle on the top here. I'll give you a little bit of a close-up so you can see how this looks when it's finished, but it is so cute. I love it. So I'm going to show you how to do it with UV resin. It's super easy. It doesn't take long at all, so we're just going to dive right in. All right, so what we're going to do is grab a silicone cup. I like to have two. You can use one. If you've only got one, that's fine too. But what we're going to do is we're going to fill this silicone cup about 3/4 of the way full. So we're going to take our UV resin, which is the original formula. So I'm going to fill this 3/4 of the way, about there, give or take. You can always make more if you feel like you don't have enough. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to add a little bit of our mica powder. So this is the brown sugar. This is what we're going to use to create the pumpkin. I'm actually going to go out of my big jar here just because it's a little easier for me. While I'm live, I don't make such a mess. So you don't need much, honestly, just a little bit, because this is supposed to resemble your pumpkin spice latte. So we want it to be as close to that as possible. So now we're going to take our silicone brush and we're going to just kind of mix in this mica powder. You don't want to add too much of the mica powder because you want the UV light to be able to penetrate that resin and still be able to cure it. So just make sure that you don't overdo it on the mica, because a tiny bit goes a really long way. You'll be able to tell. So this has a really nice color to it, and it is really beautiful, and it actually resembles pumpkin spice quite nice. And who isn't in the mood for a little pumpkin spice, right? All right, so I'm gonna take my lighter and I am going to just get a little bit of these surface bubbles. I'm gonna let this rest for just a minute. All right, so we are just gonna swirl this up just a little bit more, and then I'm gonna hit it with a little bit more heat just to get rid of those little bubbles. Now you can add ice cubes to this if you want to. If you want it to be a cold brew, you can do all kinds of fun things. I'm showing you the bare bones basics. That way it's easy for you. Okay, so I'm going to grab a toothpick and I will show you why. So once you feel like you've got most of the bubbles out, what you're going to do is take your little mason jar dude, little guy, and we are going to take our silicone cup and we are going to slowly fill this guy. Try to keep it off the rim as much as possible. And you're going to fill it up to the top, which is right above the handle. That's just the right amount. So I'm gonna hold this up and let you guys see. It's just the right amount. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our toothpick and we're just going to slowly stir it. And you just go around the edge, and what that creates inside the jar is a nice swirled look, very similar to a pumpkin spice latte. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this in my lamp and I'm going to cure it, and then I'll be able to show it to you from the side. So we're going to put it in the UV lamp. We're going to cure it for about a minute, and then I'm going to rotate it. So I always put my tools in my lamp as well, let them cure at the same time. That way I can just easily peel out the UV resin and use the cup and the little spatula or silicone brush again. All right, so I have cured this for 1 minute in the lamp. So now I'm going to turn it over on its side, and I'm gonna give it another, I'm gonna cure it from the side. The reason I'm doing that is because I wanna make sure that it's curing all the way through. That way you don't have anything left in there. All right, so I have cured my tools. So I'm gonna go ahead and just peel that out of there. Kind of clean my little brush off here. And I'm just gonna clean off my brush, any little leftover of the resin. I usually clean my brushes really well at the end of the day, but as long as it's cured, it's not gonna hurt anything. All right, so this is fully cured. Can you hear it? It's rock solid, so it's ready to go for the next step. This is so freaking cute, you guys. I love these. I love how these turned out. I like had this thought and on a whim, and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna make this and see what it turns out. And I made the first one. I was like, yep, that's gonna be a kit, because that's gonna be super cute for fall. All right, so now that we have the latte done, now we're gonna mix up a tiny bit to go on top for the cream before I put the whipped cream on. So you don't need a ton. We're just gonna put in about a teaspoon-ish, if that. And then we're going to use the white wedding mica powder, which is right here. You're gonna get a little jar of that to put in there. And I'm just gonna use my big jar here so that I don't have to dig into it. And you don't need much, like just a little tiny bit goes a really long way. So you really don't need to overdo it with that mica powder. It'll last forever. The mica powder you guys get in your kit will last forever. Stir that in really well. And this is not a pearl mica powder. It is a white. It's a pure white mica. So it's very beautiful, very bright white. It's very pleasant. All right, so I am putting in the white wedding right on top of that brown sugar to create that nice, beautiful pumpkin spice latte feel, which is exactly what we want. We're just gonna stir the top to give it a milk-like look, and then we're going to put it right into the lamp to cure. And then we're gonna take our tools, we're gonna put those right in the lamp as well. And then we get to pipe on our fun little faux whipped cream and you can use a little bit of glitter on top if you want. You can use a little bit of brown glitter if you want to create like a nutmeg look to it. Whatever you want to do, the possibilities really are endless. All right, so let's go ahead and give this the final touch. Now, before you can do one of two ways. You can add your keychain and your tassel beforehand if you don't want to mess with the piping and letting it sit or whatever. Or you can add this and then let it dry and then add your stuff. But this has to dry. So I always recommend letting this dry for like 6 to 10 hours, depending on your environment. But it's kind of like a silicone base, so it's nice and sturdy, but it does need some dry time. If you're wanting to dry it to the touch, you can use a heat gun, just very gently. Using a heat gun on top, that kind of does the trick. That's what I did with this one, just because I made it so quick. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and pipe our whipped cream on top. And this is what comes in the kit. You will get a full bottle of this and you will get the piping tip included. So you will take your lovely faux whipped cream and you're going to add it right on top of that white wedding, right on top of what looks like a yummy cream. And you're just going to pipe it kind of like icing right on top like that. And if you want to give it a little bit of a swirl like I did, boop, just like that. Super cute. And then we are going to add a little bit of some fun glitter. Don't have to, but I like a little sparkle. It puts a little pep in my step. So we're going to use the Stay Puft Mallow, and you literally only need just a tiny bit. So hold your cup right over your glitter container like this. And you're just going to kind of sprinkle it on top. And this is an iridescent glitter, so it's not going to cause any issues for you. It's just you're going to be able to see the design on the piping perfectly. And I'm going to show Instagram how cute this is. This is not the most cute pumpkin spice latte keychain you have ever seen. It is adorable. So now it is finished. You can either let it sit to dry. You can use a heat gun on it for a little bit of heat to give it a little bit of a boost. Or you can try to be really careful and add your keychain, but I wouldn't recommend it until it's dry. Now, if you're worried about being really rough on your keychain, the other option, once you get your glitter added, once this dries, you can coat the top of the whipped cream in UV resin. That'll make it really, really nice and hard. It'll give it a nice gloss finish as well. Super easy. But yeah, that's it, guys. It's so cute. So those kits are live on the website. So if you go to resinrockers.com, you'll see them at the bottom. If you guys have questions on anything, feel free to join our Facebook group. It's Resin Rockers Tips and Tricks. We'd be more than happy to help you out.